Okay, so hello and welcome everybody to the second public edition of the AlpaCafé. We again have some interesting topics today, so we will talk about recent issues and fixes. We have a little bit to share about analytics we built into Alpaca recently. We have a new Alpaca configuration on Alpaca for GitHub, and we will also want to show you how you can use the NuGet package download features in both Azure DevOps and GitHub. At the end, again, we will have a quick section for questions, for feedback. So please use the Q&A tab to get your questions into it. In this meeting, we want to learn from you. We want to learn about how you use Alpaca. We want to use that information to improve it. Everybody's welcome to attend. We mostly have technical topics, but often also different topics. So you can always just follow the agenda beforehand. And if you aren't able to join, then you can always also watch the recordings on YouTube. Like I mentioned, AlpaCafé is public now, so everybody's welcome to join. Please also spread the link to the meeting here with your colleagues, with other interested parties. And we will also always annotate the different topics with those 4 icons. So we can always see where a feature is available for which extension or for which development platform. Use the Q&A tab to ask questions. We will always answer them during and after each topic. So feel free to go to the Q&A tab, post your questions there, and let us know what you want to know. So let's start with the first topic, recent issues and fixes. Ole.
Morning, everyone. I will talk a little bit about the recent issues and fixes since the last cafe. First off, we have some fixes in the backends on improvements. The artifact downloads are now more stable. That is, as an example, there was a problem regarding concurrent downloads. If multiple people downloaded the same artifact at the same time, there were some problems, as an example. That is fixed. And we have more and better error handling for different errors that can be part of the project creation. So the creation of projects has will throw less errors at the end of it, and will handle errors better. In Azure DevOps, we had a fix that the test automation for pipelines was not working for PCs 26 and later. That is fixed now. In the Cosmo Alpaca extensions, we had some fixes regarding containers. The health check is more consistent now. The health check is stopped for deleted containers. The notification 1 hour before autostop is displayed again, although with the option to just postpone the autostop. There was a problem that this wasn't shown as of an update, but it will be shown again now. And there was a fix that the simultaneously display of a container under both repository and branch was not possible. That is now possible. It's just a small fix, but it will reduce the number of errors one will get in the extension. And in the preview extension, the multi-language support was added for English and German for now, but people try to add now new languages later maybe. Yeah. So if there are some questions, please post them in the Q&A. I will try to answer them, or we will try to answer them.
So I want to talk about analytics or telemetry, so-called. We recently integrated Azure Application Insights in our major backend services. And what is Azure Application Insights? It's an application monitoring service provided by Microsoft, which runs on Azure. It supports also OpenTelemetry, but for now we are leveraging the standard libraries from Microsoft to collect the data in our services. And it overall provides insights on application performance, reliability, and quality, and does all that based on the telemetry it collects. And it also, when using the Microsoft libraries we do, it also enhances the collected informations with some additional information. Another thing which is also great is it also collects the logs and metrics from the from every single instance of our APIs. So we have one central space where we can view our logs and issues. And yeah, the major benefits and features we get with this is just to visualize our architecture and our components which we are using. So we receive an application map. You see an example on the screen. So we can see which APIs from Microsoft our APIs are operating, and the red lines between them may indicate if there are failed requests between them. So we can easily step into the unique components and find issues there. It also supports live metrics, so real-time insights into activity and performance, which is quite handy when we deploy a new version, so we can instantly see how this is affecting the usage. Another thing is the transaction search. So it's quite easy to find and diagnose issues which occur. So this helps a lot in finding bugs and support. And some of the things Ole mentioned, we were also able to already find a lot quicker than before using the transaction search and the application insights. We also have the option to proactively monitor our APIs, and therefore we can display and measure an availability of our APIs, something else Microsoft does on their ends. So we can also point out in the future the overall availability on our Alpaca services. In addition to the transaction search, there is a separate view to find failures and failed requests. So we can step into each failed request and find issues there. So this helps a lot in finding issues which are currently there or minimizing downtimes in the future. And the same thing applies to performance metrics which are collected. So those helps to identify bottlenecks or performance issues. Together with the real-time live metrics, we can also see if a recently deployed version has some performance impacts which were not there before. So yeah, quite helpful. And overall, we can see how the user or which endpoints the users are using mostly. So we get another point on the view how the users use our systems. So this helps a lot to understand the user journey and which services or endpoints are used mostly and which features are not that much used. So we can leverage that information as well to improve the product in the future. That's it.
Thanks. Okay, so next up is Alpaca configuration. I gotta go for GitHub. Patrick, can you share something?
Yes. So we defined a new configuration file for Alpaca in ALGO for GitHub. When you're already familiar with ALGO, you might know that there are many different ways how you can set up ALGO. So there are settings spread over multiple files. So you have one file per configuration and per pipeline and so on to set up. What we have done, we have one configuration file for Cosmo Alpaca, where you can override all these pipeline not the pipeline settings, only the settings which are relevant for the container creation. This brings you the benefit that you have all on one place and you don't have to search over multiple files. You can set up multiple container configurations, not only for pipelines, also for the VS Code extension. And you can also define the backend URL which is used, but this is only necessary for certain use cases. It is the default that we are looking up which backend URL is used for you, and we are defining it in the in the pipeline automatically. So what you can also define inside this Alpaca JSON is different kind of artifacts, which are then integrated in your pipeline and your development containers during the setup of containers. So this means you can, for example, add apps or backup files, fonts, rapid start packages, and even DLLs. If you have a use case where you need DLLs, you can add this. And we have at the moment 3 different sources of our artifacts where you can get them from. The first of it is URL, which means you can enter a download URL where the artifact is stored. Or for subscribers of Cosmo Alpaca, they may have a file share for Cosmo Alpaca. This will be integrated soon. It's not integrated yet, the file share, but it will be integrated. Then the default for artifacts is NuGet, but it works only for apps, not for the other targets. And currently Cosmo only, we have the IP artifacts where the different Cosmo products are stored. So let's have a look at the configuration file. It looks a little bit complicated at the first look, but it's really just very simple. As I said, we have the backend URL at the top, which is optional. And then we have container configurations. We have one container configuration for the current version. We have, for example, one for the next minor version. And we have a default container setup. And there we came to the different types of inheritance which we are supporting. So first of all, you can inherit from a workflow. If you have already set up your workflow for the current, you can inherit from this workflow and only override settings which you want to override here. And you can also inherit from a configuration. So if you want to have a configuration which is slightly different to another configuration, but nearly the same, you can inherit from another configuration. So for example, I have here a configuration which is called current with, it should be backup and not back, but it's just a copy of the current config, and the only change is that I enter a backup file here. So everything which is set up for the current is also suitable for the current with back. And here we have also the default setup, which is automatically applied to all other setups. So if you have a default setup like I have here, then these settings will be used for every other configuration automatically. As we see here we have already the NuGet configuration here. So if you want to download a NuGet package, you just enter an artifact and give the name of the NuGet package, and then it will be automatically applied. But we will come to the configuration of the trusted feeds in the next topic. So there is some kind of configuration needed. And what we also see here is for the backup, I use the URL source where you just can enter download source for the backup file. Yeah, we also support zip files for fonts and apps. So if you don't want to enter every font you want to install inside of your container, then you can just add a zip file, and every font inside of the zip file will be added to the container. And because we want full support for ALGO projects which are already there, this configuration file is optional, but when you are using our template, you will get this configuration file automatically. So it will be there. If you're not using our template, if you're using the default template from Microsoft, then this configuration is optional, and your containers will be generated like they are done for the pipelines you already set up. So, which brings me to the NuGet package download in generally. This is also suitable for Azure DevOps. So we have integrated a NuGet package download for containers and pipelines, which means that you can define artifacts as NuGet. As already said, for GitHub, NuGet is the standard. We will not integrate Azure feeds or something like that in GitHub. Therefore, NuGet is the standard there. And we have 2 places for configuration at the moment. The first of it is the global configuration, which are the Microsoft feeds, and inside of Cosmo also the Cosmo product feeds, which is done by us in the backend automatically for every container. And for the second place, we have a per customer or per entity setup, which is currently also done by us. So if you want to add a feed to your environment, then just send us the information which feeds you want to add to your environment, and we add it in the background for you, and then you're ready to go with NuGet. There was one question in the meanwhile: is the configuration from Alpaca JSON applied first, and then the individual configuration from Cosmo JSON is applied on the top? So this question is really easy to answer. The Alpaca JSON is a replacement for the Cosmo JSON on GitHub. So we have for a long while the restructuring of the Cosmo JSON in our backlog, and this we start with the Alpaca JSON. So the Alpaca JSON is more or less a new version of the Cosmo JSON. We just gave it a more generic name, which is more related to the product. And yeah, so it's neither first or last applied. It's just a replacement for the Cosmo JSON. Yeah, here is an example how we can define NuGet packages in Azure DevOps in the Cosmo JSON. Here you give the name of the NuGet package and the type NuGet, because in Azure DevOps the default value is to use a DevOps feed and not a NuGet feed. We are using PC Container Helper in the background, which means you can also use a short name. So for example, here you could also use Cosmo document set, and PC Container Helper will search for the according package. But if you want to be sure to get the correct package in exactly this package, you should either add the whole name of the package. So this is what already there. and we have some coming soon features with NuGet. First of it is that we want to add the possibility to release apps directly to a NuGet feed from our pipelines, and also a possibility to view your configured NuGet packages inside of VS Code. So basically all your trusted feeds will be then queried and shown inside of VS Code. The configuration of trusted feeds will get a third option, which is a repository-specific setup. So there will be there's not a architecture for us now, but there will be something like trusted feeds.json inside of your repository or something like that, where you then define your trusted feeds for the current repository, which then will be also used for the current container. What we also have in our backlog is the integration of AL NuGet helper in Cosmo Alpaca VS Code. It may be not a direct integration, it may be a copy of the functionality which already inside of NuGet, but we will use the API of Cosmo Alpaca for it. But you will get the same features which AL NuGet helper already has directly in Cosmo Alpaca. And the next feature which users from Cosmo Consult already know for IP packages is an easy way to set up Cosmo JSON and AlpaCaJSON where VS Code, which is for the IP packages already possible. We will add also a functionality like that for NuGet packages, so you can right-click on a NuGet package in VS Code and include it directly in your setup files without any typing inside of JSON files or YAML files. So any questions on this topic? Otherwise, I will hand over to Marcus again.
Thanks. So far, I think no questions, but yeah, please feel free to use the Q&A tab. Until then, I have another important update. So we will skip the meeting at the end of the year, of course, because we are all busy with Christmas and New Year's Eve and stuff like that. So the next meeting of the AlpaCafé will be the 23rd of January. And also starting in 2025, we will move the AlpaCafé to 4 p.m. Central European time. So to also allow other people from other parts of the world to join as well. We also have some people from Americas that wanted to join, and yeah, that was the reason behind that. So everybody who already registered will get an email with the updated meeting time, and yeah, even if you then can't join in a new meeting time, then you are always free to watch the recordings afterwards. Like I mentioned before, those are posted on YouTube. We have an own playlist there where all the AlpaCafé meetings will be in, and yeah, so you can rewatch there. So now last possibility for you to say questions or ideas with us that we can include in the next AlpaCafés. Okay, no questions. Then thanks a lot for joining us again, and we already wish you a great Christmas time, a great New Year, and hope to see you all again the next year. We wish you a nice weekend, and yeah, see you next time.